Rumble. Days 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Freedom 106.5 FM. Join Satish Mahabe as he tackles the issues and controversial topics.
You need to tell the public why he appeared. Well, I think he should. I know what you think he should do, or what he has to do, is two totally different things.
You'll hear from the experts and have the chance to speak your mind on the topics of the day.
Do you have a question, I guess? I think the question is,
The topic is off limits on the Morning Rumble. So whether you're just starting your day or stuck in traffic, join us weekdays from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. for a morning show that will leave you informed, fired up, and ready to take on the world. The Morning Rumble with Satish Mahabe. Only on
Time to talk health with Dr. Batson, PhD, BCH, Senior Medical Consultant at Batson and Associates. Stay tuned as we are here. Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let me stop this really quickly and let me press play here. Hi, Dr. Batson. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Okay.
Batson and Associates. We are here until about 2 p.m. What do you have in store for us today, Dr. Batson?
Okay, definitely. Today we will be discussing two topics primarily. One, poor circulation, and we're going to be discussing that situation of diabetes. So we're going to delve a bit in depth in diabetes today. Let me say, of course, a pleasant good afternoon to the listeners of Freedom 106.5 FM. Always a pleasure to be in your company, discussing health from a natural and integrated perspective. So we're going to discuss diabetes. And diabetes is something that I think affects a number of persons. If you don't have diabetes, you know somebody who have it. All right. And diabetes continue to play a significant role in a number of issues, adult blindness, because the problem is once you are diabetic, your likelihood of developing certain things, blindness, so things like glaucoma, cataracts, detached retina, or what is referred to as bleeding behind the eyes, is significantly increased. And that in itself should be a warning sign for a lot of persons who are diabetic. So that's what we're going to discuss today. And we're also going to discuss the topic of circulation. Why is circulation important? What are some of the symptoms associated with poor circulation? Of course, what do we at Batson and Associates do to really correct that situation? In addition to that, we're going to highlight some products that we carry at Batson and Associates that deal specifically with those things. There's a product we use called blood sugar complex. There's also a blood sugar tea that we have. So imagine you could actually drink 2 to 3 cups of tea on a daily basis that could actually help in reducing your blood sugar levels. I mean, that should be good. Yeah, man. Yeah, that should be good news. Yeah, some good news to some persons there. So
Yeah.
so diabetes. What is diabetes? Well, first of all, there are 5 types of diabetes. Most persons are familiar with the top 2, which would be type 1 diabetes, which is referred to as insulin-dependent diabetes, and type 2 diabetes, which is known as diabetes mellitus. You, however, have type 3, which is known as gestational diabetes, which is what pregnant women experience during that time of pregnancy. A woman could develop what is known as gestational diabetes. You have type 4 diabetes, which is early onset diabetes, and you also have type 5, which is glucose intolerance. Now, type 5 and type 4 and type 3, pretty easy to deal with. Type 2 and type 1 just require some work. And one of the things I tell persons, and there are going to be a lot of persons out there who disagree with me, and that's quite okay, is that the question is, could you reverse diabetes? That's the politically correct question that most people ask. Can you reverse disease on the whole? When you're dealing with diabetes, of course, the answer is yes. When you understand the fundamental of what diabetes is, so diabetes is primarily elevated blood glucose levels. Now, if we were to break those things down, elevated, of course, means higher numbers than usual. Blood would refer to your bloodstream or your circulatory system primarily. And glucose refers to the basic form of sugar, which is used in the body as energy. Now, the problem with diabetes or diabetics is that you have glucose in a place that it is not supposed to be. So glucose is not supposed to be in your bloodstream for extended periods of time. Why? Glucose, which is the simplest form of sugar, is very oxidative. What does that mean? It causes breakdown. It's very inflammatory. So it actually causes what is known as inflammatory response in the blood vessels themselves. Because remember, blood is responsible for doing two things: transporting oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and all those types of things throughout the body. So if you have an elevated blood glucose level, when glucose is supposed to be really stored in your cells for your body to later on use it as energy when it requires it, it means that you have a serious issue. So that's primarily what diabetes is. In the case of type 1 diabetes, we know insulin is the hormone that is produced in the pancreas. Insulin is produced in a part of your pancreas known as the islet of Langerhans. And that particular hormone is responsible for the regulation or regulating glucose. Now, you would hear people say that diabetes is a hereditary thing. It is a genetic thing. I don't totally agree with that, and I'll tell you why. There's a saying we have in natural medicine: genetics load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. I'll say that again. So genetic loads the gun, lifestyle pull the trigger. So how does one lifestyle contribute to diabetes, and how in changing one's lifestyle you would be able to get a better outcome where diabetes is concerned? Because I'll tell you something, what most diabetics do not understand is that if you do have diabetes and you do not manage it or you do not deal with it properly, you're going to end up in some serious problems. What do I mean by that? As I said, diabetes and glucose is very oxidative. It is very inflammatory. So it means as a result of that, it can cause serious problems where it actually strips the lining of the blood vessels in the body. It can also cause serious problems associated with your eyesight. Because remember, if your circulation is impaired, as I said, blood is responsible for transporting oxygen and nutrients to where? To your cells. Now, cells are the basic building block of the body. Cells give you tissues, tissues give you organs, and organs give you organ systems, and organ systems give you the body. So, example, a kidney cell would basically give you kidney tissue, which would in turn give you an organ, which is the kidney. The kidney makes up a number of different organ systems, but the kidney is primarily part of your respiratory as well as your endocrine system. Your kidney actually makes up a number of different systems in the body, right? And those systems now would give you, whether it's gastrointestinal, musculoskeletal, and all these systems would give you the body. So the point is, if you're not dealing with the body from a cellular level, it is impossible for you to get better. So someone listening to this program, okay, if you have problems with neuropathy, which is burning, pins and needles, cramping in your cars, burning under your feet, and neuropathy, which is nerve damage associated with diabetes, how do you correct that? Now, one of the things we do at Batson Associates is what is known as integrative medicine. And what that simply means is not a matter of just treating the symptomology, because diabetes is really a symptomology of a greater problem. And the problems lie in the endocrine system. It also lies in the gastrointestinal system, because a lot of the times when persons have issues with diabetes, they really had a problem with digestion before. So even though you may come from a family that may have diabetes, you have to understand that your lifestyle is going to determine whether you end up being a diabetic or not. And that has a lot to do with a number of things in terms of dealing with, as I said, your gastrointestinal system. So the questions you need to ask yourself as a diabetic, especially a diabetic who is dependent on medication. So we know if you're type 1, you would most likely be using insulin. You'd normally be using a specific amount of units in the morning, a specific amount of units in the night. If you're a type 2 diabetic, you'll be using what are known as sulfur ureas, as well as hypoglycemic agents. So things like glucophage, diamicron, Janumet, Janovia, and the list goes on. The thing is with that, how do you deal with the root cause of the problem? How much water do you drink? What is the condition of your minerals in your body? What's going on with your magnesium? What's going on with your manganese? Is your food digesting properly? Is your food being assimilated properly? Do you have problems with your hormones? All diabetics have serious hormonal imbalance. All of them. Hence the reason you're diabetic in the first place. Because as I discussed before, insulin, which is the hormone that is responsible for the regulating of blood glucose levels, you can have problems with insulin in the case of type 1 diabetes. But in the case of type 2 diabetes, the problem is not insulin, no. The problem is the receptor cells in the body. So it means your body is not functioning to the level or the capacity that it's supposed to function at. So of course the question arises to anyone who's listening to this program. Well, if that is the case, and he's saying that, how do I, as a diabetic, address that situation? One of the first things you need to do is your water intake. And this is like preaching to the choir. I have told persons on numerous occasions, you have to drink water in a specific amount and in a specific manner. And we'll discuss that as we go on. Let me just say a pleasant good afternoon to our listeners on social media. Keep in mind, we are live. We are Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. On Instagram, we are Batson and Associates TT. And on YouTube, we are Batson and Associates Trinidad. Let me say a pleasant good afternoon to some of our listeners. Miss Annie Grant, she says good afternoon to us. Miss Debbie Natu says good afternoon. Elizabeth Nandlal, my dear doc, good day. Miss Tara Lachman, pleasant good afternoon to you. And Halle Berry, interestingly, good afternoon to you, is asking about polycystic ovarian syndrome, which I will speak about in a little bit, because polycystic ovarian syndrome is usually closely linked to diabetes. So a female, especially a young, have diabetes, the possibility exists that you can also have polycystic ovarian syndrome, because there's actually a close relationship between the two, in the sense that with diabetes, remember I said that diabetes primarily is an endocrine system problem. Right? So in that particular aspect, most persons who have endocrine system issues and they are diabetic and female, you could possibly end up with polycystic ovary. Your likelihood of developing polycystic ovarian syndrome is much higher. Okay, let me of course give you those telephone numbers and locations. We are located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That is Money Talks building in Montrose, Shogunas. That telephone number for Shogunas is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. For the purpose of simplicity, I would not give you all the telephone numbers for all the offices, but you could just record at least two, which would be head office. That number is 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. Again, that's 314-9975. You're listening to Dr. Jason Batson, the Senior Medical Director at Batson and Associates. I will also go over to you, my dear. Just remind me of your name. I only had interactions with you once. Carrie. Okay, so the second time, right? So that's what I say. This is our second interaction. So Carrie, pleasant good afternoon.
Let me call
The numbers. Yes.
the call, because I know persons like to call you and ask you questions directly.
Good.
627-3223 or even 625-2257. We have our WhatsApp number as well, 306-1065, Dr. Batson. So whenever we are getting a call, I will let you know, and I will just call the line so that they would ask you questions directly.
Of course, definitely. Okay. On our social media, on our Instagram, we're actually getting a question as regards to the polycystic ovarian syndrome. So let me just touch on that quickly. So polycystic ovarian syndrome is a condition that most persons have. We have very young women now, adolescent women, in fact, that actually affected by polycystic ovarian syndrome. Usually, you have some idea if you have polycystic ovaries. If you have a painful menstrual cycle, the possibility exists that you have polycystic ovaries. If you have an irregular menstrual cycle, the possibility exists. Well, you have hormonal imbalance, which could actually give you a number of things. You could end up with polycystic ovarian syndrome. You could end up with fibroids. You could end up with endometriosis, adenomyosis, and different imbalances in the ovary and that whole sexual reproductive organ. You could also end up with serious issues associated with infertility. So the question arises with women. One of the things a lot of women have to pay very close attention to is look at what is going on with your menstrual cycle. If you have pain, alarm bells. If you have an irregular period, alarm. If you have issues where your flow is not as it's supposed to, so you're actually having spotting, or your menstrual cycle might come its normal time, it lasts the 5 or the normal 7 days, but subsequent to that now, you're actually getting 2 periods in 1 month problems. All those are red flags, as they say, that to give an indication that something is seriously wrong, but it's not the organ system that is giving the problem. And let me explain this very quickly. And this is something that a lot of persons do not understand and they suffer unnecessarily. Is that whatever ailment you have, whether it's arthritis, diabetes, hypertension, polycystic ovarian syndrome, infertility, in the case of men, if you have problems with erectile dysfunction, because we know with diabetes, most men who have diabetes end up with erectile dysfunction because diabetes significantly affects and undermines your cardiovascular system. What does that mean? It means that your blood vessels, which you have three types of blood vessels in the body: arteries, which are the largest, veins, which are smaller than arteries but more elastic, and then your your capillaries. So if you were to take all those blood vessels and attach them together, they will actually be able to make the circumference of the earth 2.5 times, which is 66,000 miles. So that's just to tell you how extensive your circulatory system is. The issue with diabetes, as I said, it undermines the circulatory system. There's blood vessels. Your blood vessels are lined. We have a call?
Yeah, we have a call there.
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Good afternoon, your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Not a problem. Talk to us.
Hey, I want to explain something here. I couldn't pee. I went in the hospital and they put on a hose on.
A stent.
Continued going for about 2 years. And the doctor was seeing about me. He knew not see about me. And he sent me in the ward. Geology ward in Transplant Hospital. On the ground and he said, Faisal, all that pain again. Doctor seen about me for next doctor come and say, I'm going to X-ray Faisal. What really happened? I had a big stone on my neighbor and my private. Doctor called me the next week. She said, I get some blood. I said, nah. She had to take out that stone from the people. 4 kilos. And you know the man take out that stone, the doctor take out that stone, all that stone home. What I see was thinking like the wrong thing. And he go to the hospital, the doctor pushing his finger up inside me and tell him it's hurting. Sometimes you have to get a little more pain. Until this England doctor come and see about me. And God, I was praying to this every day and I saw my neighbor. You know when I go in the hospital, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. The ambulance coming and telling me. And I done for 7 years until I take off this and this today. And I went in the hospital. And the doctor tell me, he said that man was treating you for the wrong thing. If he told the stool, it was no practice.
Well, I hope with that experience, listen to this. Hear this. With that experience, what you will learn is that you need to drink water, right? So you learn that, right? Make sure and drink lots and lots of water so that you wouldn't get stones again. All right?
Water, yeah.
Very good. All right. Thanks for that, sir.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. All right. Thank you so much, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Definitely. Yeah. So even with regards to what you were saying there, that's why I highlighted the importance of water. Anyone who gets stone, regardless of the type of stones, you have kidney stones, you have different types of stone, you have gallstones, and a number of different types of stones. Those stones usually form as a result of dehydration.
We have another call, Dr. Batson.
Yes.
Good afternoon, your life.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So could we, like, it's a certain time, the toe does the land to the, and sometimes it's swell. And I went to the hospital and they do blood test and they say, send it to, the person that is a kidney, everything all right with me. But yet still, you think in the foot, sometimes it's swell up.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Okay, good. So let me ask you a question. So you're experiencing things like pins and needles, cramping in your cars, burning under your feet, anything like that?
Yes, up at the, in the feet right now, yeah, in the middle of my foot, I'm bleeding.
Okay, do it.
And the foot, and the something.
Are you a diabetic or have any problems, diabetes, hypertension, anything like that?
No, there's nothing like that.
Okay, well, what you have is poor circulation, so you need to work on that. Because if you have varicose veins, okay, good. So you can listen off the air. I'll give you an explanation as regards to that, right? Because that directly ties to what we're discussing here as it relates to poor circulation. You see, the thing is, varicose veins, the condition for varicose veins is actually known as the condition, or the medical condition is varicosis. And what that means is that the way your circulatory, you have two types of circulation in the body primarily. You have pulmonary circulation, which is above your heart, and systemic circulation, which is below your heart. So people who have varicose veins or varicosis actually suffer from poor systemic circulation, which means the circulation below your heart is poor. It means now that the valves that's supposed to close off, they don't close off properly. So as a result of that, they remain slightly, they don't close off properly. And as a result of that not closing off properly, blood actually pools in the legs themselves. So that situation is circulatory, poor circulation. And that's something that we deal with as well at Batson and Associates. So you could always give us a call. Persons who have things like pins and needles, cramping your calves, burning under your feet, you could also pay attention to that as well. Next call.
We have another call, Dr. Batson. Hi, good afternoon, you're live. Hi.
I was just trying to find out when you were going to
Circulation T. Yeah, when are we getting circulation T? We will get circulation T in 2 weeks' time. We will have. Okay, so you could call any one of the offices and we will have at that point in time.
Nice. Guys, don't forget you can call us and get into the conversation 627-3223, 625-2257, or you can even send me a WhatsApp message on 306-1065. This is Dr. Batson and Associates.
Good, definitely. So even and that's something that you could also get some information on the circulation tea. We carry a number of products for circulation. One of the things we do is specialize actually in diabetes. That's actually my area of specialization, or one of them actually. Having a lot of experience in endocrinology, you're actually able to understand diabetes and actually help persons who are diabetic. In the sense that one of the things, as I mentioned, the problems associated with poor circulation, problems associated with your eyesight. Because if your circulatory system is affected, it is going to affect every part of the body. Two things that diabetics usually have a lot of experience with is neuropathy. Go ahead with the question.
Hi, good afternoon, you're live.
Hi.
Hey, you're live.
Yes. Dr. Batson, I have a question. Got your information just today.
Mhm.
My daughter is just about a toddler. She's just 3 years old.
Right.
If she gets the mosquito bites or whatnot, she can pretty bad. And when she was get constantly. So now I feel like this is like a histamine situation taking place with her.
Right.
She's so bad that it shakes in her skin.
Right. Yeah, I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, I'm thinking she doesn't eat a lot of meat.
Right.
She eats meat, she doesn't eat a lot. She eats a lot of starchy food.
Right.
She's like a sugar overload. Is there, could we come in to see you, to visit you? What advice you could give at this point in time as I'm home with her?
Okay, good. No problem. You said she's how old? 3 years?
She's 3.
Yes. Okay, good. No problem. Listen, I'll guide you accordingly. All right. So the thing is, yeah, definitely at that age, once you're experiencing that, with especially once you've seen any situation associated with allergies or close to allergy, you're looking at a liver situation, right? The thing is, the body has 7 channels of elimination: kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. The thing is, if I'm dealing with a toddler, because I do deal with children, in a case like that, one of the things you need to look at first on your end is how water intake. Now, you know, children have a tendency to be a little fussy with water. They prefer the things with the sugar in it. And I heard you mention about starchy. So that's something I suggest you do: limit or decrease the intake of sugar in her diet. And what we could do, there's actually a product, you could come in for a consultation as well, but there's a product we carry called Silver with Mineral Formula. And I tend to use that a lot with children, especially children who have problems with respiratory issues, children who have problems with allergies or what appear to be allergies, children who may have issues with their skin. Because I treat a lot of children with like atopic dermatitis, well, not atopic dermatitis, sorry, eczema. Yeah, like babies. first. I actually have a 6-month-old baby and 2 children that are like a year and a half right now that we're treating for eczema. And what we're using is the silver with the mineral formula. Silver does not have any adverse effect at all. But what it does, it actually plays a significant role in bringing back some balance to the aspect of the liver and those organs of elimination. The thing is, when you have young children or toddlers at an age where they can consume water, please ensure that you give children the required amount of water that they're supposed to drink and try and lessen those sugary things. You're not supposed to be giving children soft drink and juices and those type of things. I mean, most people think, well, oh, God is a child, but you will end up with a sick child, and I don't think that's what you want. So that's something that you need to pay very close attention to. So you can give us a call or visit. Keep in mind, we do, and children that age, we would do blood analysis. We just take blood. We don't stick the fingers. We would stick under the feet, right? And we take the blood there, and we actually able to look at it under the high-powered microscope, and we look at 2 things primarily. We look at what is known as biological terrain, which is going to give us an idea of levels of inflammatory, because children could have inflammation. Inflammatory response is what causes disease in the body. The problem is inflammation under normal circumstances is good. The problem is with excessive inflammatory responses when you actually end up in problems. And that's how people end up with things like lupus, things like atopic dermatitis, lichen planus, those various types of connective tissue disorder, fibromyalgia, all those autoimmune conditions, which we actually deal quite successfully with. So, feel free to give us a call. Those telephone numbers, again, for the Shogunas office, head office, that number is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. We're also located in St. James. That's Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. Tobago is the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. And our Debe office has actually resumed full operations. We used to open from Wednesday to Saturday. We're now opening, have started back opening from Monday straight to Saturday. And that office is the corner of Ramsey Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe. Let me say a pleasant good afternoon to our consultants, Ms. Karishma Ramdan, Mr. Paul Green, Mr. Rene Bastamante, and Mr. Stefan Vialva. So those are our senior consultants that work with us. So you could always come in, have your blood analysis done, your magnetic resonance analysis done, which I'll explain in a little bit exactly what that does and how it gives us the opportunity to actually help you. And even children with asthma. I know I've dealt with a lot of persons who have problems with breathing, especially subsequent to COVID, because we have so many persons with long COVID now. And so many persons with respiratory problems post-COVID. So you need to be very careful, especially if you're someone who would have gotten COVID on numerous occasions, 3-4 times, and you may have breathing problems. That is something we also deal with as well. So you can feel free to give us a call. Keep in mind our social media platforms. We are Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. On Instagram, we are Batson and Associates TT. And on YouTube, we are Batson and Associates Trinidad. Let me just allow Carrie, it is? Carrie?
It's Carrie.
Carrie. Okay, good. To give the telephone numbers again, and those of you who may have questions for us, take advantage of the opportunity to ask your questions.
From on Freedom 106.5 FM. If you're listening to us live on our radio station, of course, you can call us at 627-3223 or 625-2257. We are even taking WhatsApp messages as well. Good. On 306-1065. I'm very sure you have some questions for Dr. Batson, and he is willing to answer any health question that you would want to propose. Someone is asking you on the WhatsApp, Dr. Batson. They have some issues I have some issues with my eyes. Every time I get up in the morning, it's itchy.
Right.
It's itchy. What do you suggest, or what advice do you have for me?
The thing is with persons with your eyesight, again, we're going to talk about water. There's a particular brand of alkaline water that we carry at Batson Associates known as Alkagen. And there are a whole set of different health benefits associated with that. There's something known as ORP, which is oxidative reduction potential, which basically means that the water has an antioxidant property. The thing is, water in its natural state is supposed to be mineral rich. So you have things like calcium, magnesium, and that type of thing. You have some water on the market. They use things like reverse osmosis, which actually strips the water of mineral, which is not really a good thing. Go ahead with the question. I see you giving me some signal there.
Call coming in. Hi, good afternoon, you're live. Good afternoon. What's up?
Good afternoon, doctor.
Good afternoon, sir.
It is vegan.
because it has worked for me.
Good.
I'm a diabetic.
Right.
After months of my program, Sensible Vegan, I call it, with 12 and so on,
Right.
and multivitamin,
Right.
but you no longer have diabetic eyes.
Good.
The bleeding,
Good.
you know, the occasional thing, it's not really bleeding. I never had the growth of the vessels and so on.
Good.
I am convinced that it is an initial first step that people could try without taking medication. You combine it with your exercise. And I have a tea I want to recommend that is not for sale because you make it at home from what you already buy. I'm calling any brand or anything special because
Right.
for that.
Yeah, definitely. Exactly.
You normally drink that you have in your house, like ginger and tea and silver grass and chandelier and all of the things and what have you, garlic and cinnamon and these things. You put about 5 of them in any one for because you want the thing in the water.
Right.
So if you put too many, you wouldn't get sufficient transfer into the water. And you bring that and you do that at random every you can do that as second cup as well. And your sensible vegan diet, you know, everything they've told you about the diet, except all you do not need that meat for that protein, I guarantee you. You know, I'm just saying.
Well, the thing is that let me okay, good. So I agree to an extent. What I would say is this, and you could listen off the air. What I would say, as it relates to vegans and being a vegetarian and meat eaters and that type of thing, it comes down to basics, and the basic principles that it comes down to is really the aspect of nutrition, but nutrition from the perspective of base nutrition. And it's quite unfortunate that most people don't understand that. One of my masters is actually in clinical nutrition and integrative medicine. And one of the things that you understand with nutrition in its whole aspect, when you look at things like most persons have a lot of problems with deficiency, but one of the major issues that most individuals have is the issue of improper absorption, or what is known as malabsorption. So the point is, a lot of persons were taking food, even good food, they eat well. You know, they balance with the vegetables, they balance in terms of the macronutrients, micronutrients, whatever the case may be. But the problem is your body does not assimilate the food. So essentially it's just going in your mouth and just going out. And your body is not able to access those nutrients in order to utilize it to get the results that you want. And that's actually a big problem. There's something known as leaky gut syndrome. If you go and research leaky gut, the majority of people walking around have leaky gut and they don't know. So the thing is, most of the time in that particular situation now, it can actually graduate. If people who have acid reflux, a lot of flatulence, gas, bloating, you're already in problems already. The thing is, those problems have not, they're going to be exacerbated later on if it is you don't really address them correctly. Carrie, we have a question. Okay.
Yes, we have a message from on WhatsApp.
Okay, good.
What can I take for dry cough and my nose is blocked badly and I have dry eyes, Dr. Batson?
Okay, good. So before I answer that question, let me just go back quickly to the question that we would have gotten with the eyes, with the person who were talking about the scratching eyes and that kind of thing. There's a product we use called Eye Optics Formula, which is an all-natural eye drop. It's primarily designed as an eye cleanser. Because the thing is, a lot of persons do not understand your eye is supposed to breathe, just like your skin. Your skin is supposed to breathe. Now, the thing is, some persons, their pores don't breathe as it's supposed to, and some persons, their eyes don't breathe as it's supposed to. So it means you don't have proper oxygen exchange, and as a result of that, you end up with a number of things. Because keep in mind, chemicals can enter the body via your eyes. Things enter the body in 3 ways. It enters respiratory-wise, so via breathing, ocularly, which is through the eyes, and dermally, which is through the skin, primarily the palm of your hands, the sole of your feet. those are the highest areas as it relates to absorption. So the thing is, with your eyes themselves, a lot of times people need to detox their eyes. And that's one of the things that the eye optics formula does. So persons who have problems with dry eyes, itchy eyes, if you have problems with things like even cataract, glaucoma, problems with even retinal detachment, because a lot of persons with eye issues also have problems with poor circulation to their brain. The gentleman made a very valid point as it relates to the drinking of tea. And I'm a huge advocate of drinking teas, whether you use a little turmeric, you use some ginger, the principle and the philosophy is really that hot water with whatever you have it with. Now, the thing is, when you're making tea, you're not supposed to put milk and sugar in it at all, at all, at all, at all. Anytime you're doing that, you're spinning top in mud. You're wasting time. Regardless if you're doing it for color or taste. No, it's not about taste. It's about what is good for you and what actually works. And that's one of the things we carry at Batson Associates. You heard the person ask about circulation tea. That's not the only tea we carry. We carry circulation, eye, kidney, liver. We also carry teas for weight loss. We carry teas for persons who have diabetes. One of the things I mentioned, there's a tea we use called blood sugar control, which actually helps in regulating your blood sugar levels based on the ingredient profile. He also made a valid point about brand. I mean, there are specific brands that I would recommend, or we would recommend. There are specific brands associated with Batson and Associates based on our 14 years experience in terms of dealing with persons. So with that being said, your main purpose in terms of what we do is helping persons who are sick, because the thing is, in the final analysis, you cannot be sick for years. I have a serious problem with that. You're definitely not coming to Batson and Associates if you're sick for years. And it's not a matter of the politics or the argument, but it doesn't make sense. You cannot be sick for years. Okay, Carrie, question?
Yes. We have a call here. Hi, good afternoon, you're live.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi.
I am
Just
diabetic.
just lower your volume a bit for me on yourself, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm hypertension, diabetic, and irregular heartbeat. Just to come into Dr. Batson, he'll have to say over his number. My eyes keep running water.
Okay.
Is that dry eye? I listen off the air.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay, good, no problem. So the telephone number again is 222. So that's 222-8261, 222-8261. And the WhatsApp is 314-9975. Again, 314-9975. Now, the thing with your eyes, as I said, dry eyes could be a cause of that. But one of the issues we have, remember, we have a lot of dust in the air. There are a number of things, which is why there are specific professions that actually would cause more damage to your eyes. So if you're in welding, your likelihood of having your eyes damaged is significantly higher. If you're someone you might be a firefighter, you're going to have problems. You're someone hairdresser. You might be a nail tech. You might work in chemicals, so you work in oil and gas. So you work, you might be a jeweler. You're refining jewelry. You might be someone involved in agriculture. So you use things like Roundup. You use things like Gramaxone, Paraquat, whatever. You use chemicals. And you use in your mask and your PPP and all those things. But you have to understand that those things are going to get in the system still. So it's a matter of having some level of preventative maintenance. And it's quite unfortunate that a lot of persons do not understand preventative maintenance when it comes to your body. So a lot of persons have preventative maintenance when it comes to your cars, your buildings, machinery, and that type. But where is your preventative maintenance for your body? There's a product we carry at Batson Associates called Santulan, Santulan. And Santulan is actually it means, in Hindi, it means balance or equilibrium. So it's actually based on Ayurvedic principles and that type of thing. And one of the things you'll understand with Santulan is a 7-channel detox. Now, there are some persons out there who have the poor opinion that they should not take a detox. Now, we're talking about detox and not purge. Now, you have to understand there is a difference. I am not an advocate of purging because purging could damage. There's a lining in the intestine known as the mucosa. And the thing is, bowel movement is actually a central nervous system function. That is your autonomic nervous system, which is parasympathetic or sympathetic. I can't remember which one of them, but it is an autonomic nervous system function. So the thing is, even with your bowel movement and with cleansing and detoxifying, that is important. So ask yourself the question, when was the last time you took a detox and a proper detox? Most people cannot answer. And then think about it. You eat how many meals on a daily basis? Some people would eat what? One, some people eat two, some people eat three, some eat five, some eat 10. Some people always have something in their mouth. You drink also. So things like that. You have 365 and what? A piece a day in the year. And you multiply that by about 3. So you're looking at over 1,000 meals that would have passed through your mouth. Do you brush your teeth? The answer, of course, is yes. And some people, you're supposed to brush your teeth multiple times for the day, right? After your meals and whatnot. So brushing your teeth is basically like cleansing your mouth. But when was the last time you actually cleansed the internal part of you? So when you have arthritis, when you have problems with headaches, you have problems with sleeping issues. One of the things we carry at Batson and Associates, I'm a person, I love challenge. If you have problems with sleeping and you think you cannot sleep for years, you give us a check and you'll tell me something different. But keep in mind, we'll take the question and I'll make the point after.
All right. Hi, good afternoon, Yolan.
Yeah. I think 10 years old, and I eat a banana every day. It's potassium. It's too high for you.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. What I would say though, you just have to make sure you have to have some balance. So I would suggest you don't use the banana every day, but if you use it like maybe about 3 times for the week, that'll be good. And then you could introduce some other fruit inside of that. Or it could be seasonal. So when you have pineapple, you could have pineapple. When we have pawpaw, you could have pawpaw. So you should mix it a bit. I believe that makes sound sense in terms of the levels of potassium and that type of thing. But definitely do some mixing where that is concerned, and you should be okay.
Dr. Batson, person who messaged earlier, they would just like a little more clarification. That's the one for
Which one?
dry cough.
Right.
And then nose is blocked. And they have really, that one.
Okay, good.
What advice do you have for them?
The thing is, first of all, check your water. The rule for drinking water is your body weight divided by 2 ounces. Always remember that. So you for yourself could work out the minimum amount of water that you should be drinking. The only persons who are excluded from drinking their body weight divided by 2 ounces in water is persons who may have kidney problems. And if you have kidney problems and you really want some help, so you may have done a kidney test and your bone is high, your creatinine is high, you may have done something known as a GFR, which is an acronym for glomerular filtration rate. And the doctor's telling you, listen, you have a kidney problem. We could also help with that as well. But in a case like that, once you are not in that situation, then you should be drinking your body weight divided by 2 ounces in water. As I said, we have a particular brand of water we carry at Batson Associates called Alkagen water, which does superb work as regards to helping to cleanse the system. It has ORP, as I said, which is oxidative reduction potential, and those type of things. In terms of supplementation, the silver with mineral formula is very good, simply because it helps from the perspective of a natural antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. So a lot of the times, because you realize most of the times when you go to the doctor for anything now, what do you get? Antibiotics. Now, that's not the best thing most of the time. World Health Organization is actually quite concerned because we have an antibiotic situation throughout the world where we're getting more and more bacteria that is actually resistant to antibiotics. And that situation has been done or is as a result of the abuse of antibiotics. And then most people take antibiotics and they don't know afterwards. There's a protocol that you should use after the use of antibiotics, especially for women. Because most women, when they use antibiotics, the next thing you're going to get is a yeast infection, which you didn't have before. So, it's a matter of actually helping to bring balance and that type of thing. Let me just tell you quickly, because I know our time is very close, those telephone numbers again. So for the Shogunas office, I'll just give you those 2 numbers, which you would get guidance for the other offices. That number again is 2228261. That's 2228261. And of course, 3149975. That's 3149975. That 3149975 is actually a WhatsApp number. And you can get us on any of those numbers and of course get information. We have a package with your blood analysis. There's a whole diagnostic package that we do where if you really want to know what is going on with you and going on with your inside, we can do that for you. So keep in mind.
Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I have one more question from someone from on WhatsApp.
Okay.
They say that they drink 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar in a cup of warm water first thing every morning. And they have RA, rheumatoid arthritis.
Right.
Can I drink that every day? What's your suggestion and your advice?
And the thing is, I don't know the level of the rheumatoid arthritis that you have. I don't know if you would have done C-reactive protein tests or erythrocyte sedimentation ratio tests to determine the level of inflammatory response. So if your inflammation is very high, you have to be careful with the apple cider vinegar. So there's guidance in terms of using that, but I have to know your numbers in order to guide you accordingly. So I'd suggest at least you come in for a consultation and let's do that. Okay, so with that being said, keep in mind those telephone numbers again: 222-8261. That's 222-8261 and 314-9975. Keep in mind our social media. We are Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. On Instagram, we are Batson and Associates TT, and on YouTube, we are Batson and Associates Trinidad. Carrie, it was a pleasure to be in your company. Let me say thank you to the listeners of Freedom 106.5. Do enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And remember, as we always say at Batson and Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. God bless and enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Till next week, please God.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Batson. That was Batson and Associates. That is our special health segment featured today. Of course, Dr. Batson and Associates. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Visit them today on the first floor, Money Talks building, number 182 Southern Main Road, Montrose, or you can call them at 222-8261. That's 222-8261, or you can even WhatsApp them at 314-9975. Keep listening. We're talking health every Thursday on Freedom 106.5 FM. We are going to take a break. When we come back, it's much more. Keep it locked.
Are you ready for a show that will leave you feeling informed and empowered?
Nice. So social media, that was a mouthful there. So let me say a pleasant good afternoon to everyone. Miss Leslie Ann, Miss Teresa Libert, Miss Marcia Letren. She says, good evening, Dr. Batson and Associates. So happy to be here. Miss Anne-Marie Bob, pleasant good day to you, Miss Bob. I actually know I have to call you. I'm gonna try my best to do that by today or tomorrow, please God. Miss Debbie Natu says, needs help with retinopathy. I don't know if you live in Trinidad, but we could help you with that. If not, there are some things that we could do to help in that particular situation. Ms. Jessica Clark, she says, hello, doc. The algorithm playing with us and not sending us alerts. Look at how low our members are. Please remind folks to share. Yeah, I think we need to check that. And I was observing that, Shakil, normally I think something is wrong. I think something is wrong. And thank you very much for doing that for about the past 4 weeks. I realized that. You're right. Even on our Sunday program too, as well. But we'll see. We'll address that. Thanks so very much for that. Halle Berry asked, after getting COVID bad, I got acid reflux. Whoa. Okay, so there's a product we use called Digestive Balance. That's something that you could actually pay very close attention to. Miss Paula Rupchan, a pleasant good day to you. In addition to that too as well, let me just finish up with one of the things I was discussing. So check us out. Keep in mind our social media platforms, like and share. We are Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. On Instagram, we are Batson and Associates TT. And on YouTube, we are Batson and Associates Trinidad. So I look forward to you guys. We have some stuff to organize again. And of course, we will be here discussing health from a natural and integrated perspective. Remember, as we always say at Batson and Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. God bless and do enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Take care. Bye-bye.